Ever since modern digital cameras became popular around 30 years ago, there has been a great debate. JPEG versus RAW. Now, me personally, as a professional photographer, I pretty much only shoot in RAW, but there are pros and cons to both. JPEG are more compatible, they're far smaller, and they're pretty much ready to go straight out of camera, no editing required. Where RAW files do need to be edited, but you've got far greater flexibility in editing when it comes to post-production, which is solely why I shoot in RAW. But what about your camera's third option? Today we're going to be discussing if that option is right for you. Is compressed RAW better than RAW? And I'm going to start right now. So before we start jumping into facts and figures and my results on what is the difference between compressed RAW and RAW, I'm going to be coming from this from a Canon shooter. So all of the results are me using the new Canon R6 Mark III. So if you shoot on a Nikon camera, a Sony camera, or even a Fujifilm camera, your results might differ. For example, I know Nikon cameras have a slightly different compression rate versus Canon. I know they slightly lower their bit rate with compressed RAW versus RAW. So if you've got slightly different results and it's not totally lining up with this video, it might be to do with the camera that you're shooting with. So what I've done is I've broken this video down looking at the main differences between these two file formats, because before I actually filmed this video, I didn't really know the difference, and actually there's quite a lot. We're going to be looking at things like dynamic range, color, image quality, buffer, but we'll start off with arguably the most important one, and that is file size. Now, as the name suggests, compressed RAW is more compressed than uncompressed RAW, which means the file sizes are going to be smaller. Now, I looked at the Canon R6 Mark III, and here are my results for JPEG, compressed RAW, and RAW. Now, if we shoot at its base ISO, the RAW files are 27.5 megabytes, where compressed RAW comes in at just 9.81 megabytes. And then JPEG, which is the smallest, only comes in at 5.35. Now, naturally, those numbers will increase when we increase the ISO. So for example, here are the results for 3200 ISO, and then here are the results for 12,800. And roughly, compressed RAW is around half the size of uncompressed RAW. So you can see there is a decent amount of compression going on. And it's roughly in the middle ground between JPEG and uncompressed RAW. JPEG obviously being significantly smaller. So compressed RAW is definitely a bit more of a middle ground. Now, if you're wondering how many photos that you can take on a card, I use 64 gig cards pretty much all the time, so that's what I'm going to be looking at. On a 64 gig card, if you're shooting in JPEG only, you can take a whopping 5,660 photos. That's quite a lot. But if we compare that to compressed RAW, that number does drop to 3,584 photos. Then if we have a look at uncompressed RAW, you'll be looking at roughly 1,739. So as you can see, the more compression, the more photos that you can get on your card. But it'll actually also affect other aspects of your photography as well, including buffer. Now, your camera's buffer is basically how many photos you can take before the camera can't take any more. Now, this really depends on camera to camera. Every single buffer will depend on the resolution, its file sizes, as well as the actual processor of the camera. So do bear in mind when looking at these results, they should mirror the results that you're getting with your camera, but the numbers might be different. Now, on the Canon R6 Mark III, which is a 32 megapixel full frame camera that can take a whopping 40 frames a second, in uncompressed RAW, you can take roughly 242 photos. That's roughly 6 seconds of just holding down the shutter button before you run into your buffer. Where if we have a look at compressed RAW, that number actually increases to 340 photos. That's roughly 8.5 seconds of just holding down the shutter button. But if you turn it into JPEG mode, well, that's where you basically don't run into a buffer at all, which really surprised me. Every camera I've known that even in JPEG, you run into a buffer. So for example, I'll go ahead and put this 8,000th of a second in electronic shutter, so that's 40 frames a second, in JPEG. It keeps on going, it keeps on going, it keeps on going. It's genuinely unbelievable. It just keeps on going. So do bear in mind that obviously this is a very expensive camera, and obviously it's Canon's latest camera with the latest processor. So do bear in mind that these numbers are naturally going to be inflated versus other cameras, but it should mirror roughly the results that you're getting in your camera. So if you are a sports or wildlife photographer, it does make a lot more sense shooting in compressed RAW, as you do have a larger buffer than uncompressed RAW. But it's not all about buffer and file sizes. With compression comes image quality loss. We all know that as photographers. So what is the image quality difference between compressed RAW and RAW? Well, to test this, I looked at ISO 100, ISO 3200 and ISO 12800 to really see the difference. Now on the left hand side we have compressed RAW, and then on the right hand side we have RAW. Now at base ISO of 100, if we go ahead and zoom into the shadows, there's basically no difference between them. I pixel peeped for a while and I just could not see a difference in image quality, sharpness, or even dynamic range. The same settings in Lightroom have been applied to both photos. So let's go ahead and raise the ISO to 3200 to see if there's a difference in low light performance. And actually, I couldn't see a difference at all between either. In fact, I really struggled. Again, pixel peeped for a while, really looked at the intricate details and its low light performance, and there's not really much of a difference. So let's go ahead and really test this camera by looking at 12,800, pretty much the maximum ISO I would professionally shoot at on this camera. And again, without any noise reduction, the image quality looks the same. There's no difference between compressed RAW and RAW, especially in the shadows. So what is the difference? That compression must be doing something. Well, actually, it is doing something, and it's affecting the dynamic range. Now, your dynamic range of your camera is basically how many stops of light your camera can capture in one image. And actually, the compression does make a difference. Now, if you just take a correctly exposed photo in compressed RAW and a correctly exposed photo in RAW, and then zoom in, you're realistically not going to see a difference. But you will see a difference if you underexpose or overexpose your photos, and I'll show you some of the results. Here is a photo 2 stops under, then brought back in Lightroom. Again, on the left is compressed RAW, on the right is RAW. And you can see there is far better colors, and there's more dynamic range, I would say, in the uncompressed RAW file versus the compressed RAW. And it's the same situation when we overexpose our image. Here is a photo 2 stops over, then brought back in Lightroom. And you can see there's more information in the sky in the uncompressed RAW, and there's just more detail and more color. So if you are under or overexposing your image, either by accident or on purpose, or you're just shooting in a high dynamic range environment, naturally uncompressed RAW will contain more information. And that's something that surprised me. I thought there was going to be a bigger of a difference when it comes to image quality. The only difference I realistically found was dynamic range in extreme environments. So what's my conclusion after using both file formats and really testing them? Well, actually, I'm really surprised of how good compressed RAW actually is, and it really is a true middle ground between JPEG and uncompressed RAW. You're getting many of the benefits of JPEG, smaller file sizes, a larger buffer, while also gaining some of the benefits from uncompressed RAW, like for example, a larger dynamic range than JPEG, as well as more colors than JPEG, and obviously better image quality. You've got more control over white balance and contrast that you don't have with JPEG without the large file sizes of uncompressed RAW. There's only realistically one disadvantage, and naturally that is dynamic range. So my conclusion is, if you're shooting in a perfect lighting environment, compressed RAW is absolutely fine, and the actual file format I personally would recommend, especially if you're a sports or wildlife photographer. But if you're someone that shoots in a higher dynamic range environment, or, funny enough, if you're a beginner photographer, then actually I would recommend uncompressed RAW. It's a lot more flexible when it comes to dynamic range. You can shoot far higher and you can shoot far lower in exposure and still retrieve that information, which is why I recommend it to beginners. If you're someone to by accidentally over or by accidentally underexpose, you have got a lot more flexibility in post-production. But if you know what you're doing and you usually nail exposure every single time, compressed RAW has many benefits of JPEG and many benefits of RAW, while not having many disadvantages. So in fact, for myself, I think for around 80% of the time, I'm probably going to be using compressed RAW, while only using uncompressed RAW in certain environments like my landscapes and especially weddings. As I get paid, I always recommend shooting larger and just having more information. But actually, this video, or at least the results from this video, surprised me, and I'm probably sure they've surprised you as well. I'm sure there was going to be loads of disadvantages to compressed RAW, but I only realistically found one. So make sure to write down in the comments below, are you going to be changing your mind on compression? Is compressed RAW good enough for you, or are you sticking to uncompressed RAW? I'm really interested to hear your guys' feedback, especially after finding out the results. Thank you to all of my YouTube members that are currently supporting the channel. If you guys want to support the channel and get some awesome perks, including free Lightroom presets like the ones that you can see on screen, make sure to go ahead to the link in the description. I've been James for Photo Fever, and I'll catch you guys next time.